A very good afternoon to you, Nzinga, and to our viewers at home. The public servants, workers are visibly getting agitated by the snail pace where these talks are concerned. Most of them are gathered here from as early as yesterday to form part of the support given to the chief negotiators here. But it doesn't appear as if a government and the workers are finding each other. A moment ago, we just had an address, an update from some of the negotiators that are privy to what is happening behind the closed doors as workers are adamant in their rejection of that 3%. They're calling for 10%, and it's pointing right now, Nzinga, to a strike action in the public sector if these two parties don't find each other today. You can remember that this process was set up for 2 days to try by all means to start the talks afresh, but it doesn't seem as if the government and the employees in the public sector are finding each other. That some of the unions have already obtained a certificate to down tools to go on a strike action. But let me bring in the DINOSA president, Mr. Tlongwane, who'll just let us in and give us the latest from what is happening here. We know very well that the workers have been looking forward to what the chief negotiators and those that have been picked to represent them are actually, faring, how they are faring behind the closed doors. We've seen you come outside to address the workers here on the latest. Maybe update our viewers as well on the latest where these talks are concerned.
Well, I must say we have since been in this process yesterday and then today this morning. So our negotiators have just come back to us to tell us that there isn't any tangible movement. What it means, therefore, is that by the end of today, if there isn't any movement from the employer, we might be given a certificate of non-resolution, which means then the certificate of non-resolution is essentially saying we will have a certificate for a right to strike. That's basically what it means. However, our negotiators have gone back to try for conciliation and the last push. If nothing happens during that process, it simply means that we will have no other option but as that, which therefore means then we will then have the latitude, the legal rights to exercise our right to strike in any form. So from there, we are going to take it from there. We'll obviously announce, after which we'll then determine the program going forward as to what will happen. It is still our wish, and we still reiterate, we are still open to engage. We still wish the employer can have any movement, because that is the only way that can break the impasse at the current moment.
Where is the sticking point? I know very well that government has solidified that 3% by presenting that statement in Parliament to say that that is where they are standing in terms of the increment for the public servants. What is the sticking point? Is it still the 3%? Are we seeing any move from government side to try and reconsider this 3%? Or this is something that they actually are standing on to say that they're going to be offering 3% and nothing more?
Yeah, in fact, the sticky point is that's exactly the sticky point, because the government is still on the 3%. And in terms of ourselves, we said, okay, we are willing to talk to maybe going down from the 10%, provided you don't give us anything below the inflation. Because this cost of living adjustment is not necessarily a real increase, because the increase should be realistic and above inflation, because the 3% is below, is less than half the inflation that we have at the current moment. So if they were to talk inflation, we'll begin to talk, but we are still emphasizing that they are not moving to move at least closer to the inflation or even above inflation. So that's where the sticky point is. It will be a travesty if we come to a conciliation and we accept the same conditions that were there before conciliation. So it will mean conciliation served nothing. That's why we are not backing down as well. We rather have a certificate to strike, and we'll exercise that right when the time comes. But we are not going to come to conciliation and still take the 3% that they kept on talking about and they ring-fenced from all the angles, including in Parliament. That will be a travesty for the working class, because the members have rejected that 3%. We are not going to even entertain the 3%. We said to them, move, so that we can at least try and see how we can also move downwards. But they are not moving. That's why we continue to say, because they're not moving, they must just get a certificate to strike, and we will see how we use that certificate to strike. If that's what they want, it means the employer is inviting us to go to the strike, and we will do that exactly. It's not us, it's them inviting us.
And what are the employees saying, the public servants? I know very well that the issue of going on strike would affect them in terms of the no work, no play, no pay, a policy that would kick in. Are they looking forward to going on strike? Are Are they looking forward to this process, just coming through with a tangible resolution that would see them going back to their post with a satisfactory offer on the table?
Well, the workers are willing to down tools, they are willing to work to rule, they are willing, as you've heard the background, everybody says we are ready, and we are going to mobilize a lot, because a lot is at stake in this year's negotiations and in this conciliation. If we get defeated, it means even in future they will do as they wish. So everybody must know that we only have the chains that are binding us to lose. So this strike and this process of picketing and mobilizing is the do or die for the entire public service, but also for the collective bargaining in our country. Because if the government is able to do this, it means even the private sector is going to do this continuously. That's what is so fundamental. We are going to mobilize even further and draft a very huge program. That includes we are going to march to National Treasury, we are going to march to the Union Building. If it means we close services, we are going to do that. They are also going to experience and suffer the pinch in as much as the no work, no pay will apply to everybody. They, as the employers, are also not going to render any services, and they have an obligation to render services to the public as well.
Mr. Tlongwane, thank you very much, sir. Simon Tlongwane coming through from Denosa. He's the president of Denosa. He's one of the people that have been negotiating on behalf of the workers here on the ground. And you hear them saying that the workers are ready to down tools. They are looking forward to this institution being the bargaining council to give them that certificate of a non-resolution, and that will see them putting their heads together and then planning ahead in terms of that strike action. Some of the unions here in Nzinga have already obtained that certificate to strike. So this process today, if it doesn't culminate in any resolution, we'll see them just getting their heads together to down tools. Nzinga?